Congratulations, you've got an interview. The good news is that you already know how to dress and what to wear, because we already talked about that. If you missed that video, it's listed and linked in the description. It's an oldie, but good advice never goes out of style. You've done the work, you've secured the interview, you are dressed to kill, but before you run off to go to that interview, we need to talk, because it is still possible to jack things up if you don't know what you're doing, even if you're super qualified. So today, gentlemen, we're going over 10 tips to crush an interview. Please note, I am not going to justify be on time with a tip. If you're that much of a moron to be late, you don't deserve the job in the first place. Tip number 1 is conduct research prior to going to the interview. Now, I'm not talking about knowing what the company does. You probably did that prior to actually applying. I'm talking getting granular. Get more into it. Dive into Google. Dive into their website. Figure out this company so that when you go in, you're ready to talk shop. And if you know who you're actually going to be interviewing with in terms of like the person's name, do research on them, which is tip number 2. All right, you're not always going to know, but a lot of times they're going to tell you you're going to be meeting with X. He is or she is, whatever. All right, do research on them. LinkedIn is a beautiful thing, and it's an amazing resource to get a lot of info on a lot of people. Have the information in the back of your head, all right? And if you can use any of it in the general flow of conversation, do it. But don't go in there being like, so, your husband Rick looks fantastic after the nose job, and Jack and Jimmy are 2 boys. My God! You will look like a super stalker, and this is counterproductive to actually getting a job. Tip number 3 is review the 150 most common interview questions. There is a list out there of questions that get asked pretty much in every interview, and they've compiled this list. It's listed and linked in the description if you want to check it out. Go through it. Think about your answer. All right, you don't need to memorize the questions, but it's a good idea to have an idea of what they're going to ask and how you're going to respond. Because if they shock you with, why are you looking for a new job? And you are dumbfounded like, that whole sexual harassment thing kinda killed. No. Ooh, I feel the butterflies. They're coming because you're getting close. The day has arrived. It's time to go to the interview. All right, tip number 4 is all about making friends. When you walk into the establishment, I need you to be super charming to everybody. The receptionist, anybody who's walking through that office, even other people, if they're there actually for the same job you are. You're talking, you're engaging, you're asking questions, you're smiling, you're being friendly, because you never know who you're talking to, and you never know if the receptionist has the ear of the person that's actually hiring you. All right, so you're in the room and the interview is underway. You need to make sure that you remember tip number 5, which is keep your answers short but concise. Not like 1 word or 2 words, but elaborate as much as you need to get your point across. Don't ramble, because rambling will lead you down areas that you don't need to go. Keep it concise, keep it consistent. Tip number 6 is all about utilizing body language in order to make a great impression. This involves eye contact, the way you sit, your posture, the way you stand, the way you walk into a room. Gentlemen, I have done a ton of videos talking about all of those things. They're also listed and linked in the description. Tip number 7 is also about preparation. I would recommend bringing some type of nice portfolio to keep your resume, business cards, and a notebook. And in this notebook or on this sheet of paper, you're going to have already written out some predetermined questions that you're going to be prepared to ask the interviewer, which is actually tip number 8. Have a list of questions that you are going to ask. In most interviews, the interviewer is going to ask you at some point, hey, what questions do you have for me? And if you're like, none, all right, it means that you really haven't thought about things. All right, by having a list of questions that you're prepared to ask shows that you're detail-oriented and you're interested in that job. Tip number 9 is all about selling yourself. This is your opportunity to shine. This is not an opportunity to be super modest, but you have to be delicate in the sense that you don't want to look like you're bragging like, yeah, I was the best at that. Oh yeah, nobody can touch me. But you can be confident and deliver yourself in a positive, proactive way and not look like an arrogant ass, all right? But this is not the time to be like, well, I'm not that great. No, Jack, take the Alpha M approach to self-marketing. Promote, promote, promote! At least that's what I do. And tip number 10, before you walk out of that office, you let them know that you are the man for the job and that you're interested in the job, that you want the job. Let them know that you're excited and hope to be a part of what they have going on or that specific organization. Before you leave, you get up, you put your hand out and you shake that hand like a man, even if you're shaking a woman, all right? Don't be all like, right? You don't need to kiss it. You need to shake it. If you missed the video that I did talk, wait a second, there's a ton of videos I'm mentioning. All right, all of the videos that I mentioned and talked about are listed and linked in the description. All right, guys, here's the good news. You've got an interview. Now you have the tools that you need in order to crush it. Congratulations. Good luck, but you got this.